Chelsea Football Club submit a new, fresh and improved bid for Ligt. The Juve defender is top of Thomas Tuchel's priority list, and the new bid has reportedly been submitted. Juve are still asking for a little bit more. There is a difference of around £4 million between the clubs. We also know, as confirmed by the brilliant Damasio, that Bayern Munich have made first contact and are also interested in the player. Now, there are a number of rumors as to whether or not he prefers Bayern, he prefers Chelsea. That has been answered by very credible sources coming out of Italy, and we're going to delve into that in more detail. Also, last night, amid the rumors and speculation that Cristiano Ronaldo could be leaving Manchester United, Damasio has also confirmed that Paulo Dybala has started to evaluate offers from England and Spain, and he has told everybody to keep an eye out on Manchester United if Ronaldo departs. Now, I want your thoughts, I want your feelings. If we hit 750 likes while we're live this morning, we will gift a further 10 memberships out to you, our brilliant viewers. So get hitting that like button, subscribe to the Football Terrace. Let's go. Dybala to Manchester United, Ligt moving closer to his exit from Juve. Now, for me, this is it's an interesting morning. It's an interesting time. It's an interesting next few days. Pre-season has started. Fans want their players in now. Fans want things over the line. They want them done. They want them dusted. But we are still so early in this market, and the interest in some of the biggest stars out there is really starting to increase. As we heard over the course of yesterday, a number of rumors came out. The first big rumor was that Ligt preferred a move to Bayern Munich over Chelsea. Now, this has already been debunked somewhat. This has already been debunked. The story here that came out from Alfredo Padula has stated that a new conference call happened and Chelsea submitted a brand new bid for Ligt. In the rest of his article, if you read through it, he also stated that Ligt doesn't have a preference on who he joins. The biggest bid wins. So the best bid to Juve will be accepted. If they make the same bid, they both get accepted. Then it'll be the club that offers the best package. Of course, Chelsea wanting to be a starting centre-back, Bayern wanting to be a starting centre-back. So you don't have to argue over status and package and playing time. This isn't like the Lisandro Martinez fight between Arsenal and Manchester United. This is about a stellar star player that will fit straight into the first team. Now, I think what's really interesting for me when I kind of read this is you kind of go through it and you think, how close is this deal? I think for me, when you look at it and think, how close is this deal? How quickly could Chelsea see this off? How quickly could Chelsea close things down? Well, it could be very, very quickly. When you look at the bid that has come in, it's very obvious to see 60 million plus bonuses. Alfredo is claiming that Juve wants 64 million plus many bonuses. Now, this really helps Chelsea because they're not that far away. Damasio has confirmed that Bayern have made their first contact for Ligt. Interest is concrete. Chelsea are targeting the player, first choice for Thomas Tuchel as his main defender. But what we also know on top of this is the simple fact that right now, Bayern are saying the 60, 70 million euro mark is too expensive for them. And this is where, and this is the brilliance of the transfer market. Chelsea Football Club can't afford here to be overly frugal. This is where you might end up having to spend a little bit more than you want. This is where you do move into that more carefree, excuse the Chelsea pun, situation of saying, well, hang on, yes, we'd like to pay 60. But maybe Bayern could stretch to 60. Why don't we just offer 64, 65, some really good bonuses and just price Bayern Munich out of this race? That's what I think Chelsea may end up needing to do here, especially with the player having no preference. If the player's got no preference, it comes down to money. This is where Chelsea have got to flex their muscle. And all the big Premier League clubs have muscle. But it does feel like the deal is close. It does feel like Chelsea's approach now for Ligt is really picking up pace. It really, really does. And I think Bayern Munich showing their interest is only going to hurry things along. I think Chelsea fans need this as well. There is such a feeling of, please just start getting these deals over the line. Give us something to be excited about. Let us be able to imagine what the new team is going to look like. I'll take a sip of my drink there. You know, Sterling coming in. Sterling, who's going to be playing far more centrally, it's believed, for Thomas Tuchel. Let's start moving towards when we get. I mean, there's news coming out later today about Rafinha, so keep your eye out for the Rafinha news. Chelsea are really pushing hard in that. But Chelsea fans want to start seeing results now. And the fact they've called their interest, or they haven't submitted the official bid yet for Jules Koundé, you then need to go and deliver De Ligt. And we've said this about Arsenal. If Arsenal calling their interest on Yuri Tillemans to go after Martinez and Rafinha, you have to kind of land those players from a fan point of view. Fans just like, well, if you're going to drop that one guy, you've got to get the guy you're going after. The old adage of a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You've got to go and get those birds in the bush if you let the bird in your hand go. Like, it's as simple as that. FTG here says that price for De Ligt has gone down so much. Would be insane for Chelsea not to pay that for the young defender, considering their centre-back situation. It absolutely would be. Of course, if the reports are true, it would be an absolute madness not to pay it. It would be an absolute madness for Chelsea not to pay it. They have to. They have to pay it. Get him in. Get Sterling and De Ligt, your first two summer signings. Do Chelsea fans understand how goddamn good that is? Legitimately, some of the best business you will see all summer. It is sensational. And I'm not capping. I'm a rival. I don't want your business to be good, but I don't sit here on the terrace and lie about what I think and feel. That is sensational if Chelsea are able to pull it off. So I agree with you completely. I absolutely do. If Roman was in charge, at least 2 signings minimum would have been made, but maybe Tuchel wouldn't have had a job today. Potentially, but also maybe you'd assign 2 players that aren't high up on your manager's priority list that he thinks fits his new system. And you've got to remember what Thomas Tuchel's doing this year. He's looking to go to a back 4. He's looking to change up his style of play slightly. There's an adaptation on its way, which most people that play with 3 at the back eventually do. 3 at the back has never been a formation that managers tend to stick with past a year to 18 months. They tend to evolve it and change it to something a little different. We're seeing Pep Guardiola and Klopp change their style slightly this year with bringing in traditional number 9s into their lineup, which they haven't really utilized consistently for a while now. So these things have to happen in football. You have to keep your opponents guessing and wondering what it is that is going on. Now, of course, in other news today, Manchester United are now heavily linked with Paulo Dybala. There was a number of rumors circulating, of course, yesterday, but when the likes of the Ornsteins, the Damazios, the Fabrizios start talking about these players with a little bit more authority, it's interesting to see what happened. Now, Manchester United have reportedly made contact for Dybala. And I'm not surprised. He's a free agent. Of course, that means his salary will be massive. That's what's going to happen. But he is being potentially looked at as an option, as a replacement for Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, what stands out as positive for me in this is Dybala is exactly what Manchester United need, if the reports are to be believed, around the style of play that Erik ten Hag wants. Erik ten Hag reportedly wants a fluid element to his front 3. Now, Dybala is an attacker. He is a second striker, if you like. I think that's the phrase that I've seen used most regularly about him as a football player. Kind of plays in that pocket behind the main number 9. Now, he can play as a striker, but predominantly a secondary striker. He can drift left. He can drift into those right positions. And I think that this is something that I'm encouraged by. There's also, of course, a younger, probably more fashionable example of this in someone like João Felix. So this is where I said to Man United fans yesterday, I'm fairly relaxed. 28 years of age, you know, you get 3 or 4 years still of quality football out of him. If Ronaldo was to leave and you were able to pick this guy up at 300 grand a week, maybe like a 10 million pound signing on fee, would he be better than Ronaldo next year for us? Maybe not. Maybe, you know, Dybala's never going to be as good. Probably never going to be as prolific as an informed top level 38-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. But if you could get 3 or 4 years out of him at Dybala's level, delivering how he has done for Juve and how he has done for his country for that period of time, it's a good replacement. It's a good piece of business by Manchester United. And when you think about the fact that the manager wants to play with a very fluid front three, this type of thing is very encouraging to me. As an individual, very, very encouraging indeed. So, look, Man United are always going to generate options if Ronaldo was to move on. Dybala could be one of them. I do want your thoughts and your feelings as to whether or not you believe this would be a good piece of business for Manchester United or not. I want to know right now in the comment section. As we said at the start of the stream, if we get to 750 likes while we're live, we'll gift 10 memberships out to you live on the air. So make sure you're getting that done for us right about now. Terry, what would you say the possibility of us signing these players and having them for pre-season on Saturday? I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling looks like it's going to get done this week. I know someone who works at Chelsea Football Club, and he told me on Thursday, everyone at the club believes Sterling is done. It's just details now to solve. Nobody else is bidding for him. Nobody else is willing to pay the asking price that City have set. Chelsea have done that. The player is happy to move to London. Personal terms are not going to be a problem. It's literally legalities. And this is what's slowing up a lot of deals. People yesterday, where's Tyrell Malacia at Man United? Sorting out visa issues. You know, it's always something boring. It's never anything like fun or exciting or crazy. It's just sorting out some visa issues, just sorting out a few bits and pieces, ready for the announcement. Sterling, I think, will be there. And I think there could be some movement in the Ligt. You know, this 4 million difference. Chelsea have got to speed up because of the situation with Bayern Munich as well. They just can't allow them to kind of catch them up. The free membership is a great little feature on here. And we've got lots of new membership stuff that we're starting very soon on the Football Terrace. So keep your eyes out for that. Ronald here says Dybala will improve Man United, no doubt, but does he fit the Erik ten Hag style of play? Look, I think that's a really good question. And for me, I think Dybala is a very good technical football player. He's got great technique, can go left and go right. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean I'm not suggesting we know that he's left-footed, but he can drift. And that's the point. When you look at his heat maps, this guy plays right across that front line, not as a starting position. You'll go onto something like Transfer Market and you'll see he's central. But look where he drifts, look where he moves, look what he does when he's on the football pitch. The fluidity in his play is there. And that is very, very, very key when it comes to a club like Manchester United and what Erik ten Hag wants to do. His touch and his movement, his ability in the pocket is great. Now, he's got a good record in terms of his outputs as well. Is he the most prolific football player in the world? No. But again, it still isn't that bad. The guy played 290 odd games for Juve, 115 goals, and about 48, 49, 50 assists, something along those lines. I was reading earlier. That's still not bad. That means in over 50% of his games, he's scoring or assisting. Plus, you would imagine, and I didn't watch all these games at Juve, no, I would never claim to, you know as well the influence he's having on a lot of those football matches as well. This is someone that would come to Manchester United and would probably score and assist between 15 and 20 goals a season. It really is. Now, what it would also enable, though, with the way he plays, is the inside forwards to be getting themselves into those central positions to be able to score. And he would then hold up play on the ball when Man United are attacking for the midfield players, whether that's Eriksen that's joining, whether it's Bruno, what she loves to do is bursting into that box. It gives a fluidity to the play that would fit the Erik ten Hag style, in my opinion. Facebook comment here says, great news, Dybala. Ronaldo should go, waiting for team in Australia. Didn't Dybala say he wants to stay in Italy? There's wanting to stay in Italy because you're settled, you love the country, and then you look at the offers that come in professionally. So, as Damasio said, Damasio is not a BSer. He is now starting to evaluate offers from England and Spain. Keep an eye out for Manchester United. Well, essentially, what Man United may end up being forced into doing here if they lose Ronaldo, depending on what happens with Anthony, it could be a case of, well, we need to go out and do this. We're saving £510,000 a week with Ronaldo leaving. The bar is available for free. Maybe the offers in Italy max out at 200 grand a week, 250 grand a week. Man United come in and say, there's 300, there's 350. little signing on fee, it's a cheap deal when you compare it to maybe dropping £60 million on a player and paying him £250,000, £300,000 a week. Remember, agents are going to demand big money if you're the replacement of Cristiano Ronaldo. It's just the way that the market and the business works. Terry, if we get Malacia, Eriksson, Martinez before the tour on Friday, and if we can secure Frankie during the tour, then I'll be happy with that. Also, Dybala on a free is a risk, but he is free. So I don't see it really as a risk, as long as the player wants to be at Manchester United. Now, the only concern over Dybala is the injury record. I'd say the only concern over him is the injury record. 3 or 4 injuries a season he's had in recent times, and he has missed a fair number of days, a lot of muscular problems and muscular fatigue. So there is that concern. And I completely and utterly understand that. And maybe that will reflect in the price United pay and the salary that people push out. But it's an option to show people that Man United aren't just going to sit there on their hands and say, well, Ronaldo is going to leave and we're going to get away with what we can. Great signing for Man United in Eriksson is being said there. I say thank you on behalf of United fans. I just want to say we're sponsored again today by Private Internet Access. The links are pinned into our live comment section and in the description below. There's a QR code on the screen as well. Please don't use the internet without it being secure. There are hackers and all types of freaks out there on the internet that are trying to harvest your data, take your details, hack your systems. Ensure that it is fully encrypted, whether you're using your smartphone, whether you're using your iMac at college, or you're out traveling, or you're just at home. Please ensure you're doing that. Plus, there's lots of fun features as well to using VPNs all around the world. It just protects what you're doing. It means you can search the internet in privacy. Nobody from the government right through to hackers, as I say, looking at what it is you are doing. And I know none of you football terrorist people are doing anything wrong, but still, why do you want people prying upon what you do? Privacy is important. You can get up to 82% off their packages, courtesy of the terrorists, and get 3 months free. So please scan that QR code or click on the link and get yourself signed up as quickly as possible, because it is very important. And as I say, make sure you're smashing the like button for us today as well. Over 300 likes on YouTube, which is great. 450 likes on Facebook, though. Facebook are always killing it at the moment. They really are. A lot of muscular injuries are a massive indicator on a player who doesn't take care of himself outside the club. This could also be very, very true. The Arsenal blueprint here says Dybala is 28, should be peak of his powers. And he ain't. It's a fair point. That's a fair point being said there, my friend. If Chelsea get Ronaldo and Neymar on a 1-year loan, where would you see them finishing in the league, in the Champions League? Listen, when you hear players' names like that, it's massive. Look, I think if Chelsea were able to pull off Ronaldo, Sterling, and Neymar with the Ligt at the back and maybe a midfield player, Chelsea could achieve anything next year with players like that. You would have an absolute killer up front in Ronaldo putting the ball in the net. You've got good creativity from Sterling on goals. You've got world-class creativity from Neymar. If based on your comment, this was to happen, you probably need a bit more stability in the midfield, and of course, the Ligt into the back. You probably need another couple of defenders. Chelsea could achieve anything with those types of players. They could achieve anything, because you're talking about the front three, including Raheem Sterling, are all world-class. You've got Ronaldo and Neymar that are beyond world-class. They are of a different level. But suddenly, Chelsea look at a completely different animal from those positions. H7 says, no team harmony. Well, people say that, but listen, Neymar and Tuchel have got a very good relationship. Raheem Sterling is a consummate team player, and Ronaldo will do whatever it really takes for his team to be able to win. Now, can he press like Gabriel Jesus does? No, because he's 37, 38 years of age, but he works hard in the role that he's given. So it really depends on Thomas Tuchel and how he sees things working out. But if Tuchel wants those players, that's when they're going to get sanctioned. And that's why Chelsea fans should be encouraged. You're only going to sanction players coming in that your manager wants. If your manager wants him, that means he thinks he can suit the style. I think it's a really positive thing for me. Ronaldo isn't world-class at anything, just his movement. And you know what? That's what you need from a number 9. His movement and his finishing is world-class still. And Chelsea haven't had that. Chelsea haven't had a world-class scorer that finishes goals, since Drogba? And even Drogba was more clutch than world-class in terms of week in, week out. Costa had a very good season or so. But Chelsea haven't had a number 9 that puts the ball in the back of the net with any real regularity. That in itself would be a spur for them. I think it'd be excellent. I really do. You're missing out Havertz when talking about the front line. Yeah, well, I was listen, if you sign all 3 of those players, and by the way, I don't think you're going to. I'm going by that guy's comment. If you were to sign Ronaldo, Neymar, and Sterling, Havertz isn't starting unless he's playing behind. Unless you're playing like a 4-2-3-1 and he's in the 1 behind. That's the only way he's starting over those guys on a regular basis, in my opinion. But there we go. Terry, sounds to me like Bowley has tried to make a statement signing to appease the fans. I think Chelsea are in trouble. Do any Chelsea fans think they're in trouble? Like, legitimately, do any Chelsea fans think that they are in trouble? I would love to know. I'd love to know. I really, really would. I really would. If any of you think that you're in trouble this year. You know, I think that, again, I did a video just like under 2 weeks ago saying I'm quite scared of what Chelsea are looking at, what Chelsea are looking to do. And I think a lot of people kind of scoffed at it and thought, why? I still think Chelsea are going to pull off some really good signings. I don't think it's just going to be like a kid in a candy shop, as some people are suggesting. Ober1 here says, no, not in trouble. We'll still get 3rd with decent signings. Yeah, I think he will as well. Joe puts out, I think patience is key. The whole world changed for Chelsea, and it's taking a little bit of time to settle. That is all. Sarim here says, Frankie de Jong, Malacia, Dybala, Erik and Tony, top 4 is doable. Listen, my belief is, even if Ronaldo leaves and we don't replace him pound for pound, United can still make top 4 next year. Erik Ten Hag will get enough out of Man United's squad. We will sign 4 or 5 players, no doubt, this summer. With those players, Erik's coaching and his style, top 4 is on for Man United. Now, of course, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, it's on for all of them as well. It's going to be a battle and it's going to be a fight, but I believe Man United will be competitive. It's why I had a bit of an argument yesterday with Igao over this, and I was kind of playing devil's advocate with him because he was kind of suggesting that we're going to struggle irrespective of Ronaldo staying or going. But he said, but you need a big replacement for Ronaldo. I was like, why do we need a replacement? He's like, so you can replace him. But there has to be a why at the end of it. And he wouldn't quite go that far. Every time I said it, it was like, why to score more goals to you? Yeah, but why do we need more goals? And he's like, your end result was we're still going to struggle. So if everybody still thinks we're going to struggle and be crap, it doesn't matter about replacing Ronaldo this summer. We can all remain relaxed because we're going to end up in the same place, right? But what Igao is really saying is, I think Man United could be dangerous this year. They could challenge us all for this top 4 position. But if they lose Ronaldo and they don't have those goals, I don't think they will. But instead of saying, I think Man United could be competitive this year, you're still trying to say we're crap. It's like a double negative. It doesn't make sense. You know, as I was stating, I can't say Liverpool are not. If I say Liverpool are not winning the league, no matter what they do, I can't then criticize their transfer window and say, oh, that's the reason that, like, if they don't buy a midfielder, they're not winning the league. And if they buy a midfielder, say, well, I still don't think they're winning the league. It's a very weird opinion to have. It doesn't hold any water. There's no value to it. And right now, I don't believe if Liverpool don't do any more business this summer, 110%, they are not catching City in the league title race. Now, they go and sign a new midfielder, you know, a little bit more stardust in this squad, then I believe they've got a very good chance of doing it. And that's only because of the signings of Phillips. Cucurella is going to come in. Alvarez and Haaland landed. I just think that's going to give City too much over a 38-game season for Liverpool to be able to keep up with them. And I'm not talking about 15, 20-point differences. It might only be 5, 6, 7 points, but it's going to be enough for them. But the point is, I'm saying what I'm saying about Liverpool because I believe they've got a chance, but they just need to match things. I can't. Okay, maybe my logic's off. Maybe I'm not quite getting it. But Man United will be a threat next year to teams. There's no doubt about that in my mind at all. They'll be a threat. What made Chelsea different to other top 6 teams is their ruthlessness. I feel like they have lost that now with Roman gone. With Roman, no matter what, there's always accountability. Let me say this now about the new Chelsea. I think Chelsea fans have got to relax. And I say that I think Chelsea fans have got to relax. And I mean this from a positive standpoint. I really, really do. Read the Athletic article yesterday, all about the approach for Raheem Sterling and the changing of the system. It's a very, very interesting article indeed. And I went through it in detail. What I like about the Athletic, I don't always agree with all of their takes, but at least they give very detailed breakdowns of what's kind of going on. And they detailed in this argument, this article, about Tuchel having greater influence on the spending at the club, targeting players to change system to go to a back four, wanting Rafinha because they want these aggressive wing play, and moving Sterling more centrally. These are all big parts of what Thomas Tuchel is trying to achieve. But within the article, they detail with great information. They detail quite greatly the breakdown of how transfers work and the months and months and months and years at times that go into work just for signing one football player. And what Chelsea have done is they've ripped up the whole plan and started again, because the Bowley group didn't like the idea that the manager, who needs specific players for his system, was not being listened to enough, and the club were buying players they thought were better. And those decisions were often being made by not so much non-footballing people as such, but they were just, they wanted him to have another go with Lukaku as an example. And he's like, well, Lukaku doesn't fit how I want to play. So I think Chelsea fans have got to remain patient while they build up the new log of players, while they build up. They haven't been working on De Ligt. They haven't been working on Sterling. They haven't been working on these players for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, a year, ready for them to go this summer. Man City, Arsenal, Tottenham to a degree, because they've had Peditici in for a year now. They've had Conte in for 6, 7 months. And of course, Liverpool, their processes are already in place. They have an advantage over Chelsea and Man United this summer. So that's just where I think it isn't about a lack of ruthlessness. It's just about timing. And the timing is slightly off because of the change. And I just think Chelsea fans have got to keep their powder dry on this one. James here says, morning, Terry. I wouldn't mind Dybala at United, but it would have to depend on the package. I don't want another mercenary at the club. He was going to Inter, and I doubt they offered him lots. Well, of course, I think, I agree with what you're saying there to a large extent. I think that Man United need to be very, very careful about what they do in this scenario, because the worst thing that they can do, legitimately, the worst thing that they can do at this moment in time is overpay. And bring in a player that doesn't actually want to be at the football club. It's like, I'd rather Inter, but if you're going to offer me that much money, I'll move to England. You don't want that. You need someone that's going to be excited to come in. You need someone that's going to be excited to come in, try and influence the team, influence the direction of the football club, who buys into the ideas. So you're absolutely right on that. The club can't deviate again from the plan that it's trying to put in place. That would be absolutely wrong. That'd be absolutely wrong of the club to do that. You're absolutely right. No doubt about it, mate. You're right. Looking forward to seeing Jesus for Arsenal. Listen, I think Jesus is a good signing. A lot of people are playing it down, but as long as the system is right by your manager, as long as he's as good as a lot of Arsenal fans have kind of said that he is, then I think you're on to an absolute winner. I think you're on to an absolute winner there as a player. This is going to be, because I still think Arsenal are going to sign 2 or 3 more players. This for me is going to be the year, in my view, that this is going to be the year, in my opinion, that we really see how good. We really, really see how good Mikel Arteta is. This is the year, in my view and in my opinion, where we see how good he is and the sort of progression in the team, because you're going to sign players, the spending is going to go up past £400 million on the squad. Expectation is going to be high, and absolutely rightfully so. Terry, a Liverpool link to anyone? No, and I don't even mean that as a dig. Liverpool, you very rarely see Liverpool links. Liverpool are like the best team in the league at keeping their stories absolutely quiet. There's not much going on at all in terms of Liverpool. Would I be surprised if they went in for another player? No. Would I be surprised if there was a twist or a sting in the tower and a midfielder came in later on in the season? Absolutely not. Later on in the window, absolutely not, because Liverpool have done that before. But it doesn't appear right now like they're doing very much at all. However, this, I, 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 I don't know what else to say other than Liverpool keep their cards close to their chest, and it's so impossible to even guess when it comes to them. It really, really is. Would love Dybala, but I think he will stay in Italy, is what Jonathan Reed says. Carl B here says, United fans need to stop gassing up Erik ten Hag. Wait to see what he is made of. Solskjaer would have won the Dutch league with Ajax. Well, that's not true. If again, you say he would have won the Dutch league with Ajax. Look how many years Ajax didn't win the Dutch league for before Erik ten Hag arrived. I think what you're doing there, Carl B, is it's a fair point. We have to wait and see how good he is in the Premier League. But Erik ten Hag is a top quality coach, without a shadow of a doubt. The only thing we don't know is how he handles the temperament and the pressure that comes upon managing Man United. I believe managing Man United is far more intense and there's far more criticism than when you're managing Ajax. Ajax in 2022. Maybe Ajax in the 90s was a very different proposition. So I hear what you're saying. But to just say that Ollie would have won the Dutch league, I think is very far-fetched, and I don't agree with you, because I feel like Man United fans are expecting too much from Ten Hag too quickly. But expecting too much in what way? To play better football, to recognise his system, for players to start improving over the course of the season, to become more competitive in games against top six. I think this squad is more than capable of challenging for the top four, especially if we bring in the 4 or 5 players that we're buying for him. I don't think those expectations are too high. No Man United fan I've come across who's talking sensibly has said, win the Prem in 2 years, win the Champs in 2 years. You know, nobody's talking about going on a massive unbeaten runs, getting 95, 96, 97 points. I think what Man United fans are suggesting is very fair even for year one. I don't think there's too much of an overvaluation. I just get the kind of feeling that I don't know why rivals hate Man United fans being excited about the idea of Erik ten Hag. Erik ten Hag was a manager that so many clubs were sort of saying, I wouldn't mind him replacing my manager in the future, or we need a new manager. Let's look at Ten Hag. Suddenly Man United have got him and he's overhyped. Like, it's crazy, man. Come on, he's a very, very good manager. You won't finish in the top 4. And that's not the problem. Year one, if the other things fall into place, if we improve and we're better, and this is why, again, it's all about context. If, for instance, Arsenal and Chelsea and Spurs are shit this year, shocking, terrible, and we don't make top 4, then it's a terrible season. But if Arsenal are better by 10 points, Liverpool are better. If Arsenal are better by 10 points this year, if Spurs are better by 10 points, that gives them that's a 22-point shift on Man United's points total from last year. So if we're better by 20 points and we don't make the top 4, but we're on like high 70 points, there's no knee-jerk reaction because we've improved and you keep going. It's all about the trajectory. Are you improving as a club? That's where you have to look at yourself sometimes and be a little bit insular, a little bit shoeboxed in your approach. That is key. It's about how has he improved things? Because if everybody else gets better, they're already ahead of us, right? So if everybody else gets better, I'm going to be relaxed. The context is very, very key indeed. But what the manager has said is he doesn't have time in terms of implementing his system. And he knows, because he's right, by the way. And we all learned this. It doesn't take 6 months for us to start seeing your style of play. It takes games. It takes months to perfect. It might take years to get it to the level that the Cities and the Liverpools are at, of course, because it took them time to do it. But to improve instantly? No. Patrick Vieira, he did it at Palace. Eddie Howe did it at Newcastle. Graham Potter did it at Brighton. And if those teams with their budgets can do it, I expect Erik ten Hag at Man United to do it. But what people do is they become polarized and they go, you think you're going to fix all your problems? No. At the same time, that's why when Igal tries to trigger me with, if Ronaldo leaves, it could all go wrong. Well, I don't know if you guys ever dealt with legacy problems at an organization. So you can take over a department and you can run it impeccably. Great standards, great behaviors, everybody working hard. But you still often get problems, which in companies are called legacy issues from previous management, from previous mistakes the company have made. You still have this backlog of problems. I used to work in the complaints department at Barclays for a while. We used to deal with really complex complaints where people used to complain about Barclays' involvement in the apartheid. Now, the reason I bring that up is that these complaints were very emotive, very, very, very detailed, and there was a lot of work that went in by the complaints departments to resolve them to the best of their abilities. But you had staff members working on these complaints and having to speak to customers about 20, 30-year-old problems. Some of these complaint handlers weren't born when the bank was doing these things. Do you understand where I'm coming from? But these legacy issues can persist. PPI was another example. Loads of youngsters join the bank, they're dealing with PPI problems, and they're like, I don't even really know what PPI was, because these kids were at school. Some of them were on their mummy's boobie when PPI was being sold. But you have these legacy problems that would still cause you issues. They're still causing issues now in 2022. This is what's going to happen at Man United. There is still going to be an overflow of problems created by Woodward, created by previous managers, created by an imbalanced squad. It isn't all going to be fixed year one, but I'm asking for improvements on that. There's a big difference in those things. Man United and Arsenal are old glory in the mud. You are both won't finish top four. Small clubs living in the past glories. Come on, you Spurs. And maybe they won't, but I think Man United will improve. And interestingly, Liverpool were an old glory in the mud, and look where they are now. Football is cyclical, and Man United and Arsenal at some point will get back to the top. It might not be under Arteta and Ten Hag, but it will happen. I think this is why, like, as much as I hate being crap right now, I hold hope. Even like I don't like the Glazers. One day the Glazers won't own Manchester United. They will move on at some point. This is almost a certainty because no owners own clubs forever. We'll see how long it lasts, but there we go. United fans wanting top four are setting themselves up for failure again. Let's get real, United fans. I see there's a difference between saying we're going to get top four and I think we can compete for it. So I hear you on that. I think believing it's going to happen like 100% when we haven't even kicked the ball, we haven't even seen what the football looks like in pre-season. I think that is really premature. I do. DTK says, love this optimistic view. Every season it falls for United. Yeah, listen, and it's one of those things. Mine isn't optimism as such; it's expectation. So that's what I expect. And this is why people get are confused by me praising certain bits of business. I'll praise an approach. I'll go, that's good, because I can praise something as an individual action. But I'm not going to praise Man United in its entirety until I see these improvements happen. But I'm not going to lower my expectations around what I expect. And I'll treat Man United the same way as I was treating Arsenal. I expect Arsenal to get better every year. As a football fan watching the money that's being spent, you've got to get better every year when you rebuild something. But what I've always said about Arsenal, you can't go from where they were to winning the league in one jump. Impossible. There's a step change. So I'm setting my club with the same standards. But I have to have expectations within that. It can't just be, well, I don't think we'll make top four, so therefore I'm not going to encourage my team or expect my team to get better in any capacity. That's just, again, that's too binary and polarized. I don't understand. That can't be how, honestly, that people are, maybe that's how schools are teaching people to think nowadays. There we go. This channel must MUTV that happens to skim over other clubs for a second then talk about United. Well, no, we're talking about two clubs. I'm responding to your comments, my friend. We've been speaking about Chelsea today. We've been speaking about Manchester United today. So we're covering all clubs. Yesterday on the hour and 40 minutes top six show, 25 minutes was on Man United. The rest of it mainly was on Chelsea and Arsenal. But there we go, my friend. I'll be showing you the results of my transplant soon. But there we go. Yeah, comprehension skills are bad. I hear you on that one there. I hear you. Terry, can I get mod powers? Blue is my color. I'll give you a mod, my friend. I'll mod you up. Absolutely. I'll mod you up right now. There you go. You've been added as a mod, my friend. We need to get to 750 likes this morning, by the way, and we will gift out 10 brand new memberships. As it were. Stop lowering expectations. Man United should not be competing for top four. So should I demand that we challenge for the league title this year? That's fucking stupid. It's not lowering expectations. I expect us to get back to challenging. But so just very quickly, because I know that there's one person watching that doesn't like Man United being discussed on the channel where the one of the main themes today is Man United. But how am I lowering the expectations? Expecting us to, like, what do you expect me to expect this year? For this season, what should my expectations be? Come on now. And if you can give me an answer, I'll make you a bet right now. If you give me an answer that stumps me that I can't respond to, I'll give you £10,000 cash right now. I will transfer it to your bank. If you can give me a realistic expectation, if you can tell me why I'm lowering them and what I should expect beyond competing for top 4 this year, I'll give you £10,000 cash right now. 10 grand, my brother. £10,000. Swear to you. I'll send it to you right now because I don't think you can give me an answer. I don't think you can give me a comprehensive, coherent, sensible answer as why I should expect more now. Not what I expect in 2 or 3 years, but this season. What more can Man United do in the league than compete for the top 4? You think we can challenge for the title? Because that's the only thing that's beyond going for top 4. Come on now. It's not lies. If he gives me an answer, I will give him 10 grand cash. An answer where I go, shit, I can't get out of that one. £10,000 cash I'll give to you right now. And if anyone wants to call in and give me an answer as to why I should expect more this year, 10 grand cash. Right this second. £10,000. Some guy goes, one word, United. Because Man United's history, after 2 or 3 terrible years in the grand scheme of things, I should expect more than top 4 this year. That doesn't even make sense. What, United? That's all Erik Ten Hag's team talk for the first game of the season. He walks into the room, says, right, lads, United. So all you need to know all season is United. Come on now. Come on now. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. Man's just trying to be a league gunner here. Super chat here says, Milinkovic-Savic to Arsenal, I'm hearing thoughts. I'll be honest with you, maybe. There's 2 agents, and I don't know if they've got the same, they're probably kind of the same agent. Milinkovic-Savic's agent and Gabriel Barbosa, their agents, all they do every single summer is try and sell their players to Premier League clubs. They've been trying to get Savic and Barbosa into the Premier League for about 4 or 5 years now, and nobody ever takes the bait and bites and brings them in. So I don't know, my friend. I think he's a very good player. I think it would improve Arsenal. I think Arsenal have the ability to sign him. All of that is there, but I don't know. I don't know. I just don't see it being a real link. I haven't done any videos on Milinkovic-Savic all year because every time I've read the stories, I don't think they're worthy of my green tick. I don't think there's any real credibility to them whatsoever. I think it's agent talk. I don't believe Arsenal are looking at him. I don't believe Man United have been looking at him. So yeah, that'd be my response to it. I mean, he's a good player. I don't know, but I've got question marks because nobody's ever in for him. Like, nobody's ever really looking at him. No one's ever really talking to him. I don't know. There's something about that I find odd. You know, when you see that, from my perspective, it's a lady, because that's my preference. But like, you see a lady and she's like, I don't know, 35, single, never has boyfriends. You think, wow, lovely looking, great personality. It's like, there's got to be something wrong with you. Like, there's got to be like a madness that comes out after 3 months as to why you're single at that. It's got to be something. Like, it's like a red flag. You know, it's like, why? How is this possible that you're wandering around, not attached? That's a relationship-wise to someone. It's always a red flag to me. It's like, I'd rather. It's why I've always chased women that have always been with someone, because at least you know they're reliable. You just got to try and take them away from that person. That's a joke. I don't do that. It's a bit of a joke. My guy hasn't come back yet with an answer as to why this season I should expect more. I get your. I tell you where I would agree with you is that we should be in a position where we're not just challenging the top 4. That's an absolute fact. But that's complaining still about where we are compared to what I think Erik Ten Hag could do in his first season. And again, they are separate conversations. So Man United are in the mud, and we shouldn't be here after what we've spent. I agree. But that's very different from what we're expected to do this season at the beginning of another new rebuild. They're 2 different conversations. I saw people yesterday talking about the Ronaldo thing and, the Glazers. Yeah, the Glazers are responsible for why Ronaldo wants to leave, because they've built such a bad process, system, atmosphere, ethos, mentality that we've missed out on Champions League, which is why Ronaldo wants to leave. That is on the Glazers. But in terms of Ronaldo himself, like leaving this summer, how we adjust to it in terms of this rebuild, that's a different conversation. So what people end up doing with Man United is they cross purposes all the time. People do it with Arsenal always. It's always a case of, well, I'm going to assess what we're doing this season under Arteta based on how I feel over the last 14 years. But that's ridiculous because Arteta and everyone in the first team right now isn't accountable for the last 14 years. So you have to ring fence them from each other, maintain the overall standards of the club to get back to where you want it to be, but you assess the new team, the new manager, the new coaching staff based on their improvements and how they're moving forward. They are two separate trains of thought. I don't know. I think some people maybe just struggle with that. You've used the excuse United came second in prior to this season where they were 7 points clear in the league. You add a new coach, new system, new players, zero reasoning. I don't understand your comment, my friend. What do you mean I've used the excuse? So we came second, yes. What's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with Ollie coming second 2 years ago? What's that got to do with my expectations this year after a massive fall from grace, after huge turnover of players and a new system and a new style and a new recruitment team and new sort of directors of football, etc., running the club, technical directors running the club? What's that got to do with anything? I don't understand. It doesn't make sense, my guy. They are separate. Ollie's failings and the club's failings have been addressed. I've spoken about them. What my expectation, I'm not going to judge Ten Hag based on Ollie's failings or Ollie's achievements. That's ridiculous because we're rebuilding. If we weren't rebuilding and we were maintaining the squad and we were just adding to it, and there wasn't a whole new rebuild going on at the club and it was just a continuation, then my expectations would be very different. But we're not. We're rebuilding again. Over the next 2 to 3 years, the vast majority of the squad that ended this last season will be flushed out the club. So it's a rebuild. He's not adding on top of what he's already got. You know, Klopp and Pep, they're adding on top. 2 or 3 players here, 1 player this time. They're adding on top of what they've already got. A little adaptation. So the expectations remain high. They're not going in a brand new direction. You can't. That's why you can't do it. You're missing that point, my friend. You know, you're missing the point. I said it the other day. Imagine you start a new job. Say I've been sacked and you start. But the way you're assessing this is this. You should start your new job where you've not done anything wrong on a first written warning because I was bad at my job prior to you coming in. Doesn't make sense. It's not how life works. It can't work like that. Can't work like that. Ever. It really can't. Terry, look at Ten Hag's performance against Premier League teams for you to have a clear view of your season. I don't know what that says there because those things, you've got this. Listen, look, there's loads of question marks over Ten Hag. And I said that before Man United employed him. Every real manager that was available for us, the best managers in the world, United couldn't get. Zidane didn't want to come to England, firstly. Pep, can't get him off the City for Man United. Klopp, too cool. None of these managers were available. Who was? You basically had Pep, Poch, and you had Ten Hag. My preference was Ten Hag. But as I said all along, and I don't hypocrisize myself, there are question marks. But I'm confident. Why make up transfer rumors to grow your channel? Yeah. So I made Damasio share this news. I made one of the most credible journalists in the world, Damasio, share this news. I made Damasio tweet this. I made Alfredo Padula tweet this. Timmy, my old mate, I feel sorry for you. I hope you're okay. Maybe you need a hug. You're probably a fan of another channel and you're, oh, Terry's doing well. I'm going to get him. But that must be like, I hope your parents don't see that tweet because you're really going to upset them. You know, they put a lot of energy and effort into bringing you into this world, feeding you, educating you, bringing you up. And then you go and embarrass your family name by going on the internet with your picture out, writing things like that. Come on, my guy. Think of your family. Think of your family name. Respect them, my brother, because that's embarrassing, my G. It's one of the most embarrassing comments I've ever had to read out on the football terrace in my life. I don't want to have a go at you because I feel sorry for you. Maybe you're going through a bad time. I don't know, maybe your girlfriend left you. I don't know, something. But listen, my G, Like what I'm going to just relax yourself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to block you from the football terrace because I think you need some time away from things to relax yourself, my friend. You take care. Weirdo. These Ligt links to Bayern will force Chelsea to pay the full cash up front and will keep and just keep being monitoring FC. What a shambles. Yeah, I don't know if it is a shambles though, but this is what can happen. Sometimes you have to pay up front because you're trying to fend off other individuals. And that's just the nature of the beast. That's just the nature of the beast, really. You know, you can't always win in terms of getting the price lower, paying it in installments, especially when multiple other football clubs get involved. Does that make sense? I think you have to just you just have to take it. You just have to take it on the chin sometimes. That's just the nature of the beast. So I'm just reading a story that someone sent me through. I want to make sure that sometimes I don't have anything credible to it or not. You think, oh, could it be something important? It isn't. It isn't. So there we go. Not trolling. If Man United had a shocking season finishing between 7th and 10th, would you still back the manager? Really depends. It really depends, but potentially not. If the football doesn't improve, if the system is non-existent, if there's all the same problems at the club, it goes beyond backing the manager, though. As I said before, when you've failed 4 managers on the bounce, you have to look at the way the club's run. So my focus is still more on the club than it is the manager. I expect things from him. But if, for instance, a player starts leaking information and Ten Hag goes upstairs and says, right, in January, we've got to sell Rashford because he's leaking information, or Bruno because he's leaking information, and the Glazers say, no, you've got to keep him, then my focus goes completely away from the manager and goes straight onto the Glazers. So it's all about looking at how we run, how we operate, and how we empower. But my belief is this: if the manager is given empowerment, if the manager is given carte blanche, if the manager is allowed to exercise his coaching and managerial ability to the fullest extent, United will improve. In my opinion, we will get better. We spend the money to get better. We bought the players in the past to get better. We just haven't had a consistent, coherent, professional approach from top to bottom. It's quite basic to fix Man United, really. But thanks for the comment there, my friend. Gunnar Ryan says, great show, Terry, one of the best channels about. Thank you very much. I mean, yeah, we do like to make up transfer rumors. You know, I sit there every day and I text Fabrizio, and I text Ornstein, and I text other people and go, can you make up this lie on the internet so I can make a video about it, please? That's what I do. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And that's confirmed yesterday by a couple of journalists. A few people think, oh, I thought you said that Rafinha agreed to join Chelsea. I didn't say it's completed. So he's open to it. So the personal terms are no problem to him. The personal terms are agreed. Yesterday, 2 tier 1 journalists. Chelsea pushing hard for Rafinha. The player is open and happy with the terms he's been offered. He just prefers Barca. It's like, hello, I told you. Like, I don't make these things up. Do you know why I don't make them up? They're all out there. There's articles about this stuff on the internet. You just got to go and read them. I think the problem with a lot of people is they don't read articles or they don't listen to what the professionals say. And then I talk about it and they go, oh, you're making it up. Nah, bruv. It's out there. It's been around. Barca have confirmed Kesse and Christiansen. This to me means Lenglet. I was calling him Langlet the other day. Is it Longley? Sorry, Longley deal is done, and Frankie De Jong. How else can they register them? I've got a video coming out about Frankie De Jong later on today, my friends. So keep your eyes out for it. Pre-recorded as of yesterday, but and I'm basically waiting to release it. Or I'll have to do it live in the mornings. That's coming out later today, so keep your eyes on that, my friend. Matt Gunner here says the thing is Ten Hag can only work with players he has got. I think United fans need to be patient. Yeah, of course, but you should still see. Look, if that Newcastle squad can improve like they did under Eddie Howe and their players, our squad can improve. It's just, do you get where I'm coming from here? Like, this is where I think people have got to be it's basic stuff. Man United's squad better than Brighton's, better than Newcastle's, better than Wolves. So we should play better football than them. It's not even hard. It's just basic. Like, we've got better players. We should play better football. Someone said my super chat about Koundé was missed. I don't think it was. Or was it? Hang on, maybe I did miss it. I'm sorry if I did. Is Koundé getting the Tielemans treatment from Chelsea? Yes. Arsenal think they look. I've seen the excuse from fans given both these deals. Oh, they're in the bag. We'll come back to them later. There's something about that notion that don't feel right. There's something about that, and maybe it's because I was a salesperson, or I was a salesman. They changed the title of my job as I got older, to business development manager, and then it changed to something else. It was business. They tried calling us like these business creation directors. I was like, I'm a bloody salesman, but great, call me that. It sounds better on a CV, right? As a salesperson, if I've got a sow in the bag, I'm not dropping it, chasing a dream. You don't do it. You build a pipeline, not a pipe dream. So Chelsea and Arsenal have to land these other targets they've called their interest on. Even if they end up getting Tielemans and Koulibaly Koundé later, they've just get them now. Honestly, I don't know. The approach worries me. The approach worries me a lot. You haven't come back. You've given that answer twice now, my friend. Like I've said, £10,000 if you can give me an answer as to what more I should expect this season from Erik and Hag at the beginning of the rebuild. I need to know, my G. What's wrong with his performance against English clubs? I don't know. I think people always go back to that Spurs game, but we'll see. Do people realize how young that squad was? But there we go. Okay, so if Man City lose a couple of players, lose Pep, and then hire a new manager, Man City shouldn't have the expectations of winning the league for the following season. No, it's not what I said. If Man City change style, system, and rebuild, potentially. But they have the winning mentality. They've got the winning bug. They've been out here winning. So the expectation is different. We haven't challenged for a league title in a decade. We haven't been competitive in the Champions League for actually about 12 years. So going from 0 to 100 in 1 year is nigh on impossible when you have Cities and Liverpools and Chelseas and Tottenhams and Arsenals already ahead of you. You're not talking about, we're not Bayern Munich. They've had a bad couple of years, but you've got more power, more spend, and a better squad than the rest of the league, and you can just jump back into gear straight away. Highly competitive, loads of teams. But where your City argument would make sense is this. Say over the next 3 seasons, City start regressing under Pep, losing more games, not really competing for titles, player power taking over, problems in the dressing room, Pep leaves, and then they go for Diego Simeone, who says, I need 17 new players to make my system work. Yes, Simeone's first season, the expectations of winning the league are not the same as City's expectations now today. So you've proven me absolutely right, me old mate. Sorry, you don't get 10 grand for that answer because you've literally proven me right. If Man United had continued, and remember what I said when we sacked Ollie, I don't want to hear about a rebuild. I want to hear that we're going to bring a new manager in to take this squad and this group to the next level. It's like with Arsenal. Arsenal's rebuild's a joke. If they sack Arteta, bring in a new manager, and then start talking about rebuilds again. You can't, when you finish the rebuild, you don't need to rebuild. You just bring someone in better to manage the damn thing. If you're always doing rebuilds and you're always starting again and ripping things down, it's because the club isn't being run right. But at the start of the new rebuild, your expectations are, well, let's start to see it in place then. And we are rebuilding because you can't compare Ollie's style and Ten Hag's style. The players that we need, the volume of players going out, vastly different from Pep Guardiola being replaced and 3 players leaving, 3 new guys coming in. Ridiculous, man. I like you and I respect you. You're a good guy, but it just doesn't make sense, my friend. I don't know where you're getting it. Maybe it's from the League Gunner school of thought. But remember, League Gunner thinks a team the size of Brighton coming 8th in the Premier League is failure. Terry, any latest information on Greenwood? Absolutely none. Greenwood is still suspended. Greenwood is still under investigation, and there's no more to say on the guy than that. Rumors every other day that he should come back, or people stating it. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. There we go. And I still see a lot of people keep talking about Thomas Partey. Listen, I don't know who this player is in the Premier League that was arrested yesterday on suspicion of sexual assault and rape. I'm not going to speculate on who the individual is because that in itself is heinous and cruel and nasty. So I'm just not delving into it. And when we do know who it is, without me seeing any evidence, I'll say the same thing I said about Callum Hudson-Odoi when he was brought in for questioning over the same thing, which he was never even charged for, by the way, was there's no evidence. I'm not going to condemn the potential victim, and I'm not going to condemn the potential perpetrator because I don't know anything. If there's photos and videos and voice notes and you hear it, it's a very different scenario. Very, very different scenario indeed. So whether it is or isn't Thomas Partey, everybody should keep their big fat mouths shut, let the police do their investigation, and wait for the evidence to come out. Because you have no idea what you're talking about, and it's unfair on all parties for anybody to have an opinion or make jokes about it or suggest things because you don't know what you're talking about. So there's a reason. There's like, just keep stum. It's absolutely heinous the way people are making up rumors about it. It's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. You know, it absolutely is. And for both sides in this, we don't know what's gone on. So why speculate? We have no idea of what's gone on. You know, when I use DT as an example here, when all the information came out about what he did, it's absolutely fair to judge because you can see the evidence in front of you, what he did and was proven to have done. So then you can have an assessment. But when you just hear a rumor, you can't talk about it. I've had people go, why haven't you done a video on this like you did about Greenwood? Because Greenwood was, I don't know if you're aware, Greenwood was well different, bruv. The reason that he's even been named in the press for this is because like I haven't done a video about Sigurdsson. Why? Because I don't know anything about it. Because no one does. So I wouldn't be dumb enough to make a video about it. It's what a silly thing to do. Stupid. Brighton coming 8th is failure. Yeah, that's what he says. It was a bit of a joke, my friend. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Terry, no mud on Man United. What do you think the club should do or go for in the event of Ronaldo leaving? And you don't get, if we don't end up with Frankie and we lose Ronaldo, listen, players that I like, I think Ruben Neves should be a target that the club goes for. I think he's a very good player and could improve the midfield area, no doubt. In terms of up front, we mentioned Dybala already today. There's a number of players out that you could kind of focus on. Listen, whether we can pull them off or not, João Felix is a name that stands out to me. Highly talented. He'd probably want Champions League football, though. And that's where it starts to become quite difficult for Manchester United. You know, a lot of people have said, what about Osimhen? Potentially. I would rather the club, though, not panic and not just waste 60, 70 million pounds on a player that they didn't really want or Ten Hag didn't really want. That would be my overarching preference. But thank you for the question. Good question. Indeed. Terry, any signings good enough to get the number 7 shirt at United? I'm really particular about numbers. I know Ian Wright's not. Big up Wrighty, but I am quite particular. And I kind of feel like that number 7 shirt should be reserved. Arjan here says, no more excuses. US tour starts next week. And if we don't buy any signings, I'm looking at Tuchel and Bowley. Signings this week are imperative. Yeah, but when you say you're looking at them, what are you going to call for Tuchel to be sacked? What's the next step in that? Romero said Rafinha to Barcelona is 98% done, but he is a waffler. So there is a chance Chelsea gets him. Barca shouldn't spend 60 million on the Brazilian Ziyech. Guys, we're 100 likes away from me gifting you those memberships. 100 likes away and you get them. 10 of them, baby. 10 of them. I think Rafinha is very, very good indeed. I think he's very, very good. But we say Romero's a waffler. I don't know if Romero is a waffler. I like him. I like the way he does stuff. He makes me happy. But yeah, there we go. That's it. Laurie Whitwell has just posted that United should complete the Eriksen deal in the next couple of days. A Chelsea update here. Where's this one says here? Todd Bowley and Thomas Tuchel are expected to keep focus on the deals for Sterling and Rafinha. Moves for Ronaldo and Neymar are unlikely to fit the existing plan, is a new update there. Listen, I said it already. Keep your eyes out for Rafinha. I've got an update coming later on today. I've got to sit back on the update because the journalist, basically from our exclusive team, has told me to sit. He goes, no video until I've done my article. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm excited. Because there could be a little bit of a swing. That's all I'm going to say. A bit of a swing with Rafinha. There could be, but we will see. Barca dragging the De Jong deal is idiotic. They're just trying to get as much money as possible. You know, they're just doing their thing. But there we go. Where are we? Oh, Navin, long time no see, Navin. He goes, is there any sort of update on Frankie De Jong? Keep your eyes out on the terrace later on today. Update on the way. Update on the way. But what I will say, it's the final countdown. I was going to sing that then, and I thought I better not. I haven't got a very good singing voice. It's the final countdown. Yeah, that is coming. Just keep your eyes out. Just keep your eyes out. The green tick is turning black very soon. If you're a follower of my Twitter, you get what I mean. There we go. If Barca sell now, then Bayern will want more money for Lewandowski. That's the game. And that's what, do you know what it is? Well, this is what football fans do. We look at it all from our own club like this. Tunnel vision. And we don't look beyond. And that's why reading the articles and the stories is important. Because you like, do you know in Barcelona, like the Barca press have been talking for a month, said that the whole deal was delayed because Barca don't want to sell until all their new money's come in from the selling of their TV rights. And I used to get weirded out by people that didn't read those stories. Why is it being delayed? Why can't you read? Read the stories. And then I put them out there. People think I'll make them up. Weird. Chelsea should get Ronaldo next year. And then, then next year, Nkunku. Maybe. I think what might happen with something like Ronaldo is, say the deals for the Rafinhas and and Dembélés don't happen for Chelsea. They could sign people like him as a makeshift for a year. That could happen. I wouldn't look beyond that. Gabrielle here, thank you very much for becoming an official member of the Football Terrace. We're shy by 50 likes, people. And I know that not all of you watching have hit the like button because there's like 1,700 watching and we're on 700 likes. So 750 and I will gift 10 new memberships out now to the Terrace community live on the air. Up to you if you want it. If you don't want the memberships, you don't have to have the memberships, but I'm just saying it's available for you right now. If you hit that like button, you might become one. We've got lots of new stuff on the way for our members as well. And I'm very, very excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it indeed. I am. But there we go. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all coming on. I appreciate you all having your say. I appreciate you all. Was it some people prefer channels that promote negative? Look, do you know what's funny, right? I see rivals getting really annoyed at me because I'm not angry at Manchester United and their approach. They're like, well, why are you not annoyed? Because I'm not right now. But you know my approach to things. I give everybody a chance before I get annoyed about things. Some people have tweeted, oh, you're supporting the Glazers. Oh, my approach to things. I'm not supporting no Glazers. Everybody a chance. I'm not supporting no Glazers on anything. We've hit the like mark, people. So I'm going to put those 10 membership gifts in right now, people. We're going to do it live on the air. Bear with me 1 second. I want to change something, though. Might need to change it on here. Oh, no. Hang on. I just got to change something over. Little something over. Aha. There we go. Oh, crap. Do I know the number? Got a new bank card through yesterday. And it's like, I didn't know if I could remember. I do remember the CB2 number. My card's upstairs. Do you hate that when you get a new bank card and things don't transfer over? Here we go, people. 10 new memberships on their way to you right now. On their way. Make sure you're hitting that like and that share button. Let's keep it going. I'm excited to see who they go to. Squad memberships coming out. You make sure you're renewing these, though, my people. Here we go. So, 10 on the way. First one goes to... So, Football Capital gets one. Cold Fries gets one. Noz gets one. Jesse Killer gets one. Andrew Young. Anita gets one. Who else we got here? Who else we giving them to? That can't be the only one, I swear. Congrats to those people. Who else got one? Paperboy got one. Nico got one. Dwayne got one. There we go. They're all given out there, people. So well done to the new members. Make sure it's not rigged. It's literally random. YouTube does it, not me. So make sure you do that. Get yourself signed up for the membership programs. As the new season starts, we're going to be doing 2 exclusive pieces of content per week for our members. We will be announcing, the invite will come out as well. We've got a big event we're doing to launch the start of the Premier League season. Members will be invited to that as well. And we're going to be getting you involved. And we're looking to do more road shows next year. Everything's pretty much on the edge of happening. KJ will be getting all your scarves sent out to you very soon. They're sitting in the office ready to get that done. It's been difficult to get down to London recently with a few things that have been going on. But make sure you're hitting like and share buttons. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. on Straight Facts later today. We'll set the same standard, 1,250 likes, and we'll give 20 memberships out to you all. So make sure you get yourselves along. But until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless.